All right. Oof. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Hey, no problem. Get the dates up for you. Well, I wanted to target this sell side, but we've already delivered into it. So interesting. We'll have to see what we get this morning. That's a little unfortunate. Short-term high cleared. Clean setup, actually. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So that's the case. If we're going to hit that low already, we're going to have to maybe readjust our outlook for the morning. I think this low, these are way too clean in my opinion here. Right, these equal lows. We did clear it, but that's not really a clear to me. Just a small wick. So we still have all these lows I think price can get into. Closing below this sell side. I'm going to watch and see if that high now becomes resistance. It's 930. So we'll see if we want to just trade straight into that sell side, which if we do, then maybe we're gonna have to look for a run back higher. We'll kind of assess that at the time being. We're inside of a 4-hour fair value gap right now. So yeah, for the time being, just looking for this sell side to be targeted. But there's a 4-hour there, new week opening gap, and then another 4-hour down here. So I'm trying to see if we're gonna maintain this as an area of support and try to actually come back up and attack some of these highs. Right, because now these highs are pretty clean as well, and we have an untapped 15-minute. So some just areas of interest. 15-minute swing highs there. 4-hour. Okay, let's watch. So right at 930, we aren't able to clear this sell side, but we do trade into the discount. We've accelerated now, inverting this fair value gap. Watch that immediately. Just want to see how these PD arrays are playing out. So I'm going to watch this inversion, see if we get back underneath it, continue to reach for lows. Ideally, I'd like to see that to then trust the longs, but if we're going to hold this, we'll try to catch the longs some other way. So far, it looks like we might get back under that. Let's see. Attempting. Did hold it. See if we hold it again. No fair value gap yet created. As I said, I would personally like to see us attempt to clear this low and clear out these lows first. These are pretty clean. Want to see if we can't disrupt that and then look for the run higher. So seek and destroy. Patient now, not in a rush yet. Once again, no high impact news until Thursday, so relying purely on kind of price action. Shouldn't really be too many catalysts that send price unknowingly into different directions. So it looks like we're going to hold it again so far, right? Highs are holding. Really just watching the bodies. So body's working lower and lower. I'm wanting to see now, does this become a swing low? If that becomes a swing low there, we may accelerate away. So simply watching that to see, right, new swing low gets formed, or can we roll over that swing low, retest the 4 hour, try to get back into that low right here. Morning, Sharky. What's up, brother? So we're going up now. Now let's say that we close above this inversion after putting in this swing low. I would kind of expect that inversion to hold us. As I said, won't enter anything yet. Following it simply. Wicks back. Okay, this is our midnight level. What are we on right here? Yeah, we're right at midnight as well. Okay, so really kind of seeing what we do. Trading under midnight. If we can get back above midnight, power of 3, we may want to push up higher. Candlestick closes above that fair value gap. Immediately retest the low of it. As you said, new low. Or swing low, excuse me, not new low. Simply looking to see if we can put in a new low. Retesting low that again. So for the time being, just being held inside that inversion. Yeah, so far just a slow opening, not much to do. We're able to close underneath that, so we've reclaimed that as a bearish. Let's see if we don't want to accelerate now. Remember, this is the low we're kind of looking at. Running into here instead of the OB, up close candle that traded into the volume imbalance. So we do invert the fair value gap, but we still have premiums that are holding us right here. Now we get that expansion, cool. So let's look for this low. We want to see this low, and then we'll try to kind of turn our attention to running out some highs. If we're going to maintain bearishness, we'll see what we do once we clear this low. If we displace through it, we may look for lower prices, but I think that we can get higher still from here. So retesting the original sell side pool, we actually failed to swipe that low out. NQ does clear that low. So for the time being, a little small SMT taking place right here. Another closure below. Notice how we close below it once, we close below again. So yeah, I don't want to see us run out this low and attack this sell side here. May have our first presented be formed here. Watch that. So we do get a fair value gap there. I'd watch that now and see what happens here. As we said, we didn't clear these lows. I want to see these lows be ran out. So ideally we hold this bearish fair value gap. That's also the high, the 4 hour right here, this area. So we could trade higher. I just want to see that be a wick. I'd like to see the body remain below that, or else more than likely we do just kind of bounce here, consolidate like we saw yesterday morning. Just a quick refresher. Where were we at yesterday? Yeah, something like this potentially. Aggressive wick. Gotta wait for the body to close. Bodies tell the stories. Wick's doing the damage, so we get a wick into this bearish fair value gap. I'd like to see that body remain under this level, and then, as we say, attack lows here. And then maybe if we can escape the 4 hour, that'd become an inversion. That was what we would use for our longing opportunity. Okay, cool. So look at that. So we did actually swipe that perfectly. Now let's see if we get that closure. If we get that closure above, we may just go in right away here. All right, everything is kind of playing out as we'd want to see. We did. All right, let's try that. So now we're going to basically be using this inversion, the original sell side pull, and just to hide the 4 hour. As we said, if we're going to run out this low and then accelerate back above and leave the 4 hour, we want to use it as an entry. It presented itself to us, so we're going to follow that there. See if we can expand now, as we want to see ideally buy side. This is like extreme best case if we want to come all the way back up into this 15 up here. Along the way though, we're going to go partial, of course, as we usually do, 5 handles, which will get us right at this opposing volume imbalance. So we can take one off right away there, if we can get up there anyways. And then we'll take another one off just at highs. So I like these equal highs up here, and then final target will be up there. So now we let it see if it can run. Don't like that. I don't want to see us get above this bearish fair value gap. That's what I'm watching right now. Right, the original one that we close above and then reclaim bearishly. As we trade up into it, this will be our first time trading into it as a reclaimed fair value gap, so it could hold us as we're seeing. So I didn't like that. I would have preferred price to get above that, so now we may be in danger. Let's watch and see if this low gets cleared here. Cool, so we get another one on that sell side. Right, just choppy delivery, that's fine. I like the setup. Nothing wrong with it. We still might get it again, so we're not gonna get rid of that idea. One more run on that sell side is still an opportunity. Let's see what we get now. There's still the same area of interest. Let's see if we can escape that. Now we're under it. Still have equal highs up here. We'll give it another chance if it can get back above. get back above and skedaddle. So we're attempting to create another one. Okay, we closed that in. So yeah, and we fell short of that. I still want higher prices, to be honest. Another wick low. If this volume imbalance gets left open bullish, we might give that another opportunity. If we get stopped out here again, this kind of will be be on the sidelines for a little bit. Just because we don't want to go full tilt. If it's going to offer two setups and kind of invalidate them both. We've taken lows now once, twice, 3 times. But I really have to see this be left open. So if there's nothing left open, nothing to do. Let's go 2 ticks. Yeah, that's why. Okay. So this is our first presented. It's very small, which is why it wasn't popping up. But we're still going to want to use that. For the time being, we'll take away RTH gap with the opening gap. So yeah, so far it looks like we want to continue to hold this. That's fine. We'll see if we attack lows again. Didn't give us that second entry, so nothing to do. Choppy in here. Chopping back at the consolidation. I'm almost curious. Turtle soup, the lows. Let's see. So just looking around some higher time frames, right? The 15-minute has just closed, and we closed below this 15-minute bullish fair value gap here. So now this becomes kind of an area of resistance for us. It would be a potential inversion. As we work down lower, we'll see that 5-minute. Yeah, okay. So let's kind of hide the 4-hour for now. We'll have the consequent encroachment, but for the time being, not too worried. This 15 here is kind of what I'm gonna need to see get traded through for us to feel comfortable longing again. So we can get back above the first presented fair value gap, but because prices already showed, right, it's kind of unwilling to get some wings and run aggressively higher, keeps wicking for lows. We need true confirmation above that 15 for me to look for higher prices again. And really just looking for a continuation of bullish delivery. Getting near all-time highs. We don't try to call tops or bottoms. Let's just like go at a clean chart real quick. And just like we spoke about yesterday, right? Any 4-hour fair value gap that's getting created is holding us and we're accelerating. This is tricky because we have 2, but I'm still expecting higher prices, another run on highs. So that's what we would look for until we clear this low and get invalidated. Doesn't mean there won't be some short-term bearish setups that we can take advantage of, but for me, especially with no news or anything, I'd like to just wait for cleaner confirmations to try to run higher. Right, so far, notice how that 15-minute inversion, we just trade up into on the 15-minute cents, and now on the 1-minute we're rejecting. Bodies are holding it slow. Yeah, that's real hideous there. So just playing around this old sell side pool. That is what we wanted to see, but now that we're just kind of playing there, let's see if we want to attack some lower ones. Which ones have we gotten? So we haven't gotten these. We did get these. Let's put our other 2 areas. Equal lows here. And then just a swing low here. So if we're going to want to keep reaching for sell side, that would make sense. First presented holding us bearish. First presented on NQ, you said held as well, did it? Let's see. Yeah, previous first. Nice. So far bearishness. This sell side 1. Sell side 2. Alright, so now my attention goes to consequent encroachment here. And then the low. If we're going to keep selling off here, right, we may look for actual shorts. Just back into new week opening gap. We have to flip our bias. Let's see what happens here at these liquidity areas. Right, that 15-minute held us nicely. After getting above the first presented, getting back below, we are able to hold that, and now we're running lower. Huge displacement. So yeah, more than likely underneath this, we're going to want to use these areas as resistance here. Remember watching this area. If we leave a fair value gap there, I'm just debating, do we try to use that? Go clear chart just to give us some, okay, those lows there inside that new week opening gap, so that's a possibility. First low like that. Fair value gap there as we punch through sell side, so I would watch an area like this actually. As you said, we may have to flip our bias. We shouldn't revisit that to get us into sell side. Bearish displacement. 5 minute has yet to close, so let's wait for a 5 minute. If 5 minute closes below this low as well, then yeah, we're gonna try to go ahead and go short. We'll flip our bias for the morning. So I like the idea of trying to run out lows, continuing, I guess, into this new week opening gap that's here. Off of that sell side. Gotta make sure I don't want to be too early because we're going to rely on the 5 minute closure below this sell side. We do get it, so we could try this here. All right, so right, original longs. As I said, I like that. We swept the low once, we swept it twice. We accelerated above first presented and the 4 hour. Just rolled over on itself. Right, so invalidating that structure, trading through all of the wicks, and then breaking below both areas of sell side liquidity with large displacement. New week opening gap low here, and we actually have the low of the 4 hour as well. So with all that, I would just look for continuation lower off of basically the bearish fair value gap that's in here, aligned with the other sell side pool. We'll see if we get it, but the fair value gap itself, it's like that. And then we'll have the 4 hour, just clean it up, 15 minute. This becomes our sell side within new week opening gap. We'll see if we can't give a tap into there, break lower. What would that be if you go? Take a quick look at NQ, same thing. Swept its lows, right? Get back under first presented, use that. We're actually below a new day opening gap in NQ as well. NQ just hit previous day high? Is that previous day low? What's that? Oh no, that's glitched out. Okay, disregard that. Yeah, NQ decided it's a new week opening gap, so we're trying to enter on consequent encroachment there. There's our entry. We'll see if we're offsides quickly. It looks like we will be. So immediately, we'll see if we get stopped here on this one candle. Trading back up into up close candle here. Stop loss is above that. Right, it's the 15-minute. Already though, that large displacement, if we're going to overtake that again, I almost just want to close if we're going to come back down into this. I think we'll probably just get tagged out though. As you say, we like being off or on sides quickly. So if we're going to be stopped out with this candle, that's fine. Boom, 0 for 2. All right. All right, so now, as we say, I'm not in a rush to get back into anything. We have to think we're already 0 for 2 on the day, 0.25%, so we're right at 0.5% loss. Yesterday was well over that in profits, so we're not worried. Right, part of the game. For those that have been around, you guys understand my risk, I guess we'll say risk management. If I lose 1%, I'm done. So right now we're at 0.25%. As we said, not in a rush to try to push those other 2 trades. We might even wait until the afternoon, right, if nothing presents itself. But just simply talking it out. I think it's good to let you guys know that losses are going to happen, right? I'm not feeling any certain type of way. Part of the game, part of the system. So now we just go back to looking for really that original idea, I guess, for me. If we're going to invalidate this, right, as we break through this, close below all these areas of sell side, leaving behind a premium, those premiums should hold us if we want to continue in that given direction. Right, so the fact that we're unable to actually hold that and instead displace through that, my attention immediately would go back towards here. And we left the 4 hour again. So in all honesty, we may actually, right, this is where we don't want to be chopped up. But the beauty of having the low risk is that it allows us a few entries when we're offsides. Not every day is going to be clean. Some days it's going to be a grind. Short-term low cleared. I still want to see, well, 5-minute close above here. So we're once again waiting for the 5-minute. This was a pretty aggressive run on stops at this point, okay? So to displace back above that aggressively, to me, that means we want to target highs. If we roll back over on this and attack lows again, that's just bearish delivery and we're tricky there. Let's see what something like this would be. If we're going to use this entry, we wouldn't even want to see, because we do have the inversion there. So it may actually want to give it a little deeper retracement. 4 hours consequent encroachment should not even be touched. We might wait for a little more confirmation there. Because we're not able to close above these highs at all. I want to see if we can't close above a high for one time. Oh, what the heck? Clear that out. Yeah, let's see if we can't get above a high. $15, right, every now and then I like to hide just to see. So in this current chart, high to low, barely weep that high. We aggressively wick the lows, hold from here. We actually hold that 5-minute sense, wick the lows as well. Volume balance held us. Displacement back above. 2-minute. So yeah, this becomes my area of interest, I guess, right here. Let's see what we do. We'll try to be involved. As we said, if we're offside here, we're just stuck in chop, right? We're going up and down through PD arrays too much for our liking. We may miss it. I'm gonna try to get that low because I want to be more towards consequent encroachment of this fair value gap, but we'll just try to target that low. We've gotten above first presented again. So yeah, we're in very low probability conditions, which is why my risk is so small, right? We're even going smaller than it was. I want to see this candle get printed first to kind of reject. And then we're going to try to use that low as an entry. See if it can't run out that low one more time before aggressively moving away. Shoot it up. Okay, and we held the fair value gap, so that's nice. All right, so we'll see if we can't get one more wick into this. At this point, we'll look into clear a short-term low, pick up the entry on that. Stop loss for us, as we said, goes below inversion and the large fair value gap. And I'm still looking at these original liquidity pools. Like if we're going to continue up and down, as we revisit these areas, that should still be an area that can offer us support, which is why the stop is really below all of that. Because to me, if we're going to get below all of that, right, we're either going to come for here, the sell side, or we just consolidate. And it's just, we don't want to be involved. I thought it would be 3 losses, still under our max drawdown. So that's the thing, as I said, really this week, professional losers. Being able to take losses and not blow out is huge. So we'll see here now. Ideally, we accelerate. We don't want to spend a lot of time now back inside this, or just means that we're probably going to want to remain within it. Look at the bodies. And we still have all these highs. So that's really why I'm pushing right for the buy side. These highs are just too clean in my opinion. Equal high, equal high, equal high, equal high. Now we have a new swing high that has yet to be tapped. So once again, from this entry, we will partial out at the original partial. So that'll give us still a good area to partial at. And then the final one, we'll just hold for the high if we can get there. So far though, right, how we're just slowly sliding back into that fair value gap. I never liked that type of delivery. But slowly falling back down, as we said, we can allow inversion and these sell side pulls. So we could still give really this entire fair value gap back. We wouldn't want to see that, because if we do, more than likely, as we say, we're going to keep running. But we'll find out. There's as low as we want to see, really, for me. The original sell side pulls, as we retest those, I'd want to see us kind of hold that area. And just be straight up, right? If we get lost, or if we take the L on this, we'll just be done for the morning. Discipline. Right, it's only Tuesday, coming off of a nice Monday of trading. There's no need to go crazy. So there's that sell side, as we said, that's kind of the lowest I'd want to see it go. We're inside the inversion here. Let me move the actual fair value gap. So I'd want us to hold. We'd need to hold from this area right here. See expansion, quickness to try to leave this, because now that we're underneath consequent encroachment of the large 1 minute, the high of it may come into play as an area of resistance. And we, yep. Right, look at that rejection there. So you said closing below consequent encroachment often means price wants to venture into the low. We have the sell side liquidity here, but if we are unable to get back above the 1 minute, I just think that's a bad sign. We do have a bullish volume imbalance, so I would really want to see that stay open, make this a swing low, leave the 1 minute fair value gap, find support at its high, and then continue to rally. Whoa, what the heck was that? Right there, worst case scenario, as we said. The high of it, now that closing below consequent encroachment, the high of that is going to offer us resistance if we don't want to get out of it. And we're going to close that volume balance in. So as we retest this sell side, we'll see what takes place there. So far, just not looking too good. Right, got to hold though. We have our area of invalidation. Dollar's fallen hard, so I mean, as dollar falls, indices should rise. The fact that it's not is another thing that's kind of telling me to be a little hesitant, right? As we look at dollar, all this and dollar just sells off aggressively lower. We would expect to meet that with the opposing delivery in the indices, but instead we're getting stuck right here, right in the same area. Retesting sell side again, as we said, that's okay. That's why the stop's below it. Still the same idea. Need to see us get above the fair value gap. If we don't, I think we're getting stopped here. I think we'll kind of hesitate within this and then boom, kind of like we did here. Create a lot of wicks and then in one swift motion, just run right through all of it. So this level right here is our key level we're watching. I'll bring it back one more time. Right here, right? Just the high. We don't really care about the low too much. Just want to see the high of that level. Especially because we're under first presented. So hitting first presented, closing inside of this fair value gap is terrible. Yeah, that's terrible. Wow. Okay. So that, yeah, that's just hideous. This would be an instance where I would take one off. Yeah, I like the highs as well, right? That's kind of what we're going off of, but it just may be slow delivery. Once again, every now and then I love to go just bare bones kind of look. Don't get married to the idea. Quick zoom out. Okay. Right, and if we just look at this, what's been upset more, in my opinion, right? Lows. This run here has disrupted all these lows and now all these highs are left. Doesn't mean price needs to run up there, but that's why I favor run higher. Right, same on a 15, just so clean. High resistance though. Yep, exactly. Need to get back above that first. If we can get back above, we should be able to accelerate. Still unable to close above the fair value gap itself. Okay, so like we said, we're gonna just, we need to get above this level. I'm just gonna put a little bar there so I don't have to keep the whole fair value gap up. This becomes my key area I'm looking at, this one level. Body's telling us a story. I like that the bodies now, as we trade into this, bodies cannot even touch the sell side. It's good. Right, as we get back above the inversion, body's hovering above it. I like that. As we wick, right, the body closes, very next body closes right on that. So bodies to me are saying we're trying to get higher, right? Bodies are closing higher, they're trying to reach higher. We're just running into heavy resistance. That can completely be erased in one swift movement, as we're saying. But I'm simply just following the order flow, right? Creating the narrative. So once again, body, okay, body finally escapes the high. So now I would watch, we should hold that. If anything, we shouldn't get any lower than consequent encroachment. So let's bring back the whole fair value gap. Like if we're gonna come back into this, I wanna see the top quarter level be holding this price. That's this level here, right? I don't wanna see consequent encroachment be retested. Because then once again, just giving deeper retracements than I would see is necessary for high resistance or high probability price runs. Getting back above this is perfect for us. We want to see that first presented be, as we're saying, reclaimed as an inversion. It's originally a bearish fair value gap. So we make it an inversion, we reclaim it bearishly, we use it bearishly. Now if we get back over it, I want to see it act as a true inversion to really send price higher. Once again, relying on the bodies slowly closing higher. That's a good sign. At this point, as we said, don't want to see this sell side boom. Oh, I like that actually. That's a new update. What the heck? Nice. Okay. I do like that. Bad sign. We're able to cut some risk, but that's a bad sign. Need to get above. You know what? We're actually gonna leave the stop right here. Because I'm not convinced. Say that price does get real ugly, we may run out these equal lows and still be able to hold from there. So just allowing that. That is a terrible sign. Bearish volume imbalance, holding first presented, opening with the bearish volume imbalance. Yep, so just high resistance once again. If that's the case, right, where's 5 handles? Could we partial at 5 handles maybe instead of trying to get too much? We could. We may not get there though. Let's find out. So 5 handles would get us right there. Okay. I just said we could retest this. We could even sweep these lows. This would be the very lowest I'd want to see though. Stop right below that. Yeah, that is hideous. Perfect retouch of that. That's okay. I didn't want to see this be traded into. We end up doing it. We understand. Just high resistance. Let's see how we close that, however, because if we could still close that above its midpoint, there's a chance. Look at how it closes. Okay, so we wanted to see that cord level hold. It does. Wicks do the damage. Bodies tell the story. Once again, we'll see. That's 2 back-to-back volume imbalances. Yeah, I'm already not liking this. But this is a scenario where, right, once you're in it, you just have to commit to it. So I'm not going to close early. I'm not going to do funky stuff. I have the framework set up. We either get stopped or we reach our partial. I think we get stopped personally, but you never know. Dollar dumping. Yeah, especially as dollar goes lower and ES goes lower. Not a good sign. So once again, retesting that liquidity. I like that it's a very reactive area in price. I want to see price move away from that aggressively. If we can move away aggressively, then we should be able to get our partial up here, but just choppy, right? So we don't have high expectations. Bearish volume imbalance. Okay, 4th in a row. So as we're saying, that's a terrible sign. 1, 2, 3. Bearish order flow. If this candlestick after hitting the sell side cannot create any wick lower, that will be good. So we'd want to see, right, that bearish volume imbalance be negated. All one-sided delivery already looks like we're going to want to put in the wick. So let's see, we would need to move. So we do. Okay. So that to me, yeah, we'll probably get stopped here. We would need to get an immediate rejection off this sell side or hold within here. Consequent encroachment. Or the consequent encroachment between the two. There's the low. That would be the max. We'd need to reject now and push. Because we've just cleared out the equal lows. We've just hit the low of that 1 minute. So yeah, this would be as low as I'd want to see. If not, there's a stop out. Boom. Okay. So yeah, fellas, right? Just a tough day. Did we forget how to trade? Does the market not work? No. Just low probability conditions. But we understand that going in. So we're not surprised. We keep risk light. We allow for multiple entries. If things don't go our way, we don't get upset and go tilt. So at this point, 3/4, right? Still under 1% drawdown on the day. So I think for me, we'll probably just be chill there. Showing an unwillingness, pretty choppy. We're going to wait until 10:30. That's what we'll do. All right, so now we're going to let 9:30 to 10:30 play out. We have nothing else to do. We've allowed ourselves one more opportunity for a trade today to see if we can get in, right? If we lose that trade, that's 1% down total on the day, and that's my max stop out. I don't like to push anything more than that. And especially at some point, right, if you're trying to pound entries in here back to back, could get a little lost. That's where you start getting tilted. So for us, we take a step back. 3 straight from areas that really should hold, right? So I'm not, like I said, not really much to look in here and analyze as far as mistakes. I think that's something that a lot of early traders get stuck on, is if they get stopped out, right, they're always doing something wrong, or they think that they're doing something wrong. When in reality, sometimes the market is just not poised to move how you expect it to where these frameworks present themselves. And I would take that trade 10 times out of 10. It's all about the probabilities. So at this point, right, let's see, let's go to a higher time frame real quick, just kind of see where we are. Higher time frame sense, we still have yet to close below this low, so really stuck within this range. I would say from this high to this low is our current range that we're stuck in. Price has ventured outside it, but the bodies have not, right? And that's really what's important to look at. Cool, I'm glad you find it helpful, Scotty. That's really all I'm trying to do, right? I don't claim to be some crazy 100% win rate. I do think I have a good understanding of what price should do and why, and that's all I try to portray, right? And allow you guys to get on board where you see fit. it also goes to show, like, I like days like this as well, where, right, the analysis, everything that we want to see pans out as we would expect to see, but we still lose. I think that's a very important lesson that traders have to be okay with. Because if you're not okay with it, that's when you start missing entries due to fear, right? Where you don't enter because you're scared, and then price runs where you expect, and now you're mad because you didn't enter. And because you're mad you didn't enter, then you enter a trade you shouldn't have, right? And that's when things get ridiculous. So for me, it's good to know, good to point out that I'm okay with these entries. They just didn't work out, right? I don't feel any type of way about it. I'm not scared of entering the next trade. I don't think the market is broken. I don't know what I'm doing. We will watch this, however. Oh wait, I moved, what's those sell side pulls? So this lower one, because this is the true external range, okay? External range is there. Very true, yeah. What about the notion that 947 is the axe? Okay, let's go 947. Here. Yeah, that's okay. You know what? That's fair. Because if you were following ICT's most recent videos, right, when you should use my only hesitation would be, right, is that this fair value gap is formed before all of this, if that makes sense. So in theory, although this would be balanced now, at the time that it was created, I wouldn't see it as a balanced price range. Obviously, now that we've gone up and down through it multiple times, it has been balanced, but when it first was created, it wasn't, which is why I would still kind of rely on that one. Just my thinking about it, right? How I would go about processing that. That's a crazy stop out. That's funny. Low ticked us. Those highs are just so clean. What time is it? 10:15. Okay. Nothing to do. Equal lows. Original sell side. Stay away. Discipline I wanted. Was very close to just entering there again. Close proximity. But we'll just sit on our hands. If price runs, cool. Cool. So wiki. Sheesh. Yeah, nothing for us to do here. Ugh. All right, be right back. Coffee refill. watching this volume imbalance. That's why I had marked out as like an entry. I wasn't going to take it. I just wanted to see, like, frame a setup here. There's always something I'm doing just to try to get in sync. Right, so I'm thinking, okay, so as we said, more than likely we're going to want to retest those equal lows now that we've held that. We clear the equal lows. We're unwilling to get below still that sell side. We hold at the 4 hours consequent encroachment. We create a premium as we run out the lows, so we watch that premium to get inverted. It does. It holds us once. We should expect it to hold again, and it does. So this might be the run here. And right, that setup would have worked out nicely, but if it does run, that's okay. I almost, let's see, I wouldn't mind seeing us hold from here and almost retesting. Let's go like a 2 minute real quick. We could run out this low. I'm just trying to think, like, let's turtle soup something. Like this 15 minute, I'm thinking that's gonna be protected low. So that's this low here. If that's a protected low, this low should be intermediate swing point. Equal lows in here, which means we could retest this. Protecting that low like that to then get up here to actually run into 830. $10.20. We'll wait for time. We'll go time then price. We'll follow this like this, but as I said, I'm gonna sit back till 10:30. Don't need to be in every move. But sometimes you gotta convince yourself. I still tell myself that. So tired. Yeah, if we're just gonna keep consolidating, right, we're gonna get stuck here, so could be a quick scout back into the range. Let's see if we want to get above that finally. Look at that close right on it. Perfect. Notice we also held that bullish fair value gap that was right here. Yeah, so there's the run. We may miss that. That's okay. And I don't know, you could almost use this. I'm debating using this here. But right, it's tough in conditions like this because, as we've said before, I don't like taking trades in the middle of the range from this high to this low. Right, this entry would be right near, almost it's damn near equilibrium. If we went high to low there. Right, so I'd feel much more confident entering like down here. Like that should have been our entry, or this. Whereas here could still pan out. But just because we've been so choppy, there's a high likelihood that it'll run that out. We actually don't even close above, so there's still nothing to do, really. No closure above to me means nothing. That's still bearish. Short-term high cleared into the midnight open perfectly. So yeah, until we can flip midnight, we're probably going to remain bearish. But we'll see if we don't want to. Yeah, that's so clean. Okay. I might actually leave an entry in right there. If we come all the way back down here. But we'll see if we just push from here. Looks like we're going to want to finally extend. Get out of the range. First closure above, so we watch this. What happens now? I'm a lot less willing to enter on here because it's already shown an unwillingness to be really respected, if that makes sense. Like, yes, right, this could work, but I think it's just less likely. There's a lower probability that this will work because price has already disrespected it more than once. Had we shown precision through here all morning, right, this would be a lot easier for me to trust, but we could easily get right back underneath, revisit, and that would not be a good entry. So we'll find out. On a 5-minute sense, we have yet to close above that. So we'll still wait for the 5. Let's see, 2-minute, yeah, all wick, 15-minute. Holy, look at that. That's so ugly. On both sides, but that's so clean up there. Yeah, we're committed to longs. We'll try to get long one more time. To me, I would favor almost, let's see, we're gonna use that original sell side, so I'm gonna look to try to get the entry here. I don't think this low gets validated or invalidated, so we're gonna try to enter something like this. This entry was relying on basically the original stop loss. All right, that's just gonna be a key level in price, showing a willingness to wanna hold there. In consolidations, the extremes of the range will get held. And I'm currently seeing from the highest high here to the lowest low. That's our current dealing range. Right, because this high runs out this high here, and then this low clears out all the sell side as well. So if I'm looking at this, I'm saying, all right, from this high to this low, that's our current range. Equilibrium, oh my, look at that, okay. Constant encroachment of that range is perfectly consequent encroachment of the first presented fair value gap. That's not random, which is why we continue to return to equilibrium. So if we want to attack the extremes of the range and then, okay, I like that. Let's do that. So this will actually be final entry now for the day. Fourth and final. All right, if we're out here, we're out, and we just go 0 for today. The 0 for, baby, back to my baseball days. 0 for 4, golden sombrero. We need to get down here though, so I want to see us hold this, retest. We'll actually go like 1 tick above, just in case we get a perfect tap of that. But yeah, in consolidations, these are the type of trades I take, right? So rather than relying on PD arrays like volume imbalances, fair value gaps, and trying to use those as continuations, if I'm trying to take a consolidation trade, I'm basically using, as we continue to say, higher time frame reference points that were created before the consolidation took place. I'm just trying to see if we broke below. We did break below that fair value gap. Okay, so this could still hold us. I wouldn't actually mind that because then we'll have some like trend line liquidity even in here. Run out some lows, boom, into the entry. It's about to be 10:30, so yeah, I'm content with this. This will be our final of the day. If we just run from here, oh well, I'm not gonna chase it. As I've said, not putting too much confidence in the actual first presented here, just because exactly like we said, up and down it so many times. Right, once, twice, up again, down again, 3, 4 times, up through 5, back down 6. Yeah, I'd rather stay here. Not surprised that we're consolidating either, because why? Right, huge range yesterday. Large ranges lead to smaller ranges. And we already cleared yesterday's high as well. So we don't really have any buy side up there to target. Which is why we're seeing price a lot more lethargic in here. Right, in my mind, we've cleared a major buy side swing point in the form of that daily high during the Asia session. We then reverted right back to midnight. So in all honesty, like on a daily candle, right, we're just stuck right here. Like, let me zoom in a little bit. On daily candle, we're just range bound. After this huge pump up, we could see easily, right, a few days of just back and forth. Something like this potentially, where we just start getting range bound. I do think this buy side up here is the super right long-term objective, but that's just long-term. All right, let's go back. Oh, okay, cool. No way. Well, let's wait and see what happens. That would be crazy if we missed that. Ooh, bless it out. Okay, so now, to be honest, I would be a little worried of us actually hitting that. Because now we have this large wick that cleared the sell side. Did we fall short? Oh my, it hit it to the tick, bro. That's so crazy to me. We may run, that's fine. I'm gonna leave it here, but we'll see if we can't give one more stab lower. If we close below this wick, that'll be an issue. We don't wanna make a bearish wick like this and then close below that, because right, that would indicate to me more of a bearish fair value gap, wicks or gaps. So that'd be more of a bearish gap that would then hold us to more than likely stop us out. If we could wick that, that'd be fine. Like if we wicked this and then wicked back above, that is what I'd want to see. If we just run from here, oh well. Yeah, on a daily sense, I would agree with that. Just shortly, I mean, there's so many gaps in here, even just like trying to take out previous day low or something, but who knows, could be wrong, right? Could just stay strong and just keep pushing, but I would expect a slight pullback at least. Into like at least a 4-hour fair value gap here. Consolidate here, and then tomorrow run out that consolidation and then accelerate. Who knows? All right, back to entry. It is 10:30 right now. Okay, so 10:30. Highest high, lowest low between 9:30 and 10:30. Highest high would be 9:30, 9:30, boom. Highest high is equal highs. Oh, that is clean, lowest low. Not equal lows, I like that, okay. Yeah, I like that. I'm a fan, I'm a fan. Yesterday's first presented. That is all the way down here. That's this one. First presented here. Oh, look at that. Oh, for Nas. Yeah, you might be. Let's see what's out here. Yeah, we've been using that as resistance, so they're overlapping. Oh wait, that's yesterday's. Now, first presented from yesterday was way down here as well. The blue one's the first presented from this week. The secret. Sure, you could say that, yeah. The market's only ever moving from liquidities to inefficiencies, right? From inefficiencies to areas of liquidity. So yeah, if you're completely lost, very easy to just target highs and target lows. Textbook. If we run from here, I will not lie, I'll be salty. It's okay though. Still follow my discipline. Because I mean, come on now. I moved this up one tick so I would get it, because I felt we might hit that perfectly. Instead, it went perfectly to where I put the entry. That's so funny. To the tick, like what? Come on now. We'll see if we can't get another stab below that though. Still have to be on side. Exactly. That's what I say, right? Finding the liquidity is easy. The hardest part is understanding the narrative. That's the hardest part. Plain and simple. Anyone can go out here on a chart and point to highs and lows and say, oh yeah, price, right? Price can attack these. But being able to say why price should do it and being on side, that's what will differentiate. Let's see if we can't get that low. Oh my fellas, I really gotta go bathroom. I'm trying to hold it. coffee's no good. Yeah, so I'd expect, right, opening range low to be held. So at this point, don't want to see that opening range from 9:30 to 10:30. I want that low to be held, and I want us to get the high because the highs are equal highs. Trade on the side of the 60 or 4 hour. Yeah, that's where the highest probability status will come from, right? If you're someone just looking for those. I've kind of evolved to where I'm more just nimble, as you guys have seen, in and out. And especially in markets like this where it's just choppy. But yeah, once we get in a trending environment, if you can get on side with like the power of 3, that's the most powerful concept. Like if you can get on side, right, with the wick, catch the expansion, same thing. Catch the wick, catch those moves higher and lower. And once we do start moving, it's so easy to just target the previous candle's high or low, right? You'll always have a bias if you could just target the previous candle's high or low. Simple. Facts, bro. That coffee just be running through you. Yeah, I still like that. So, like we said, that becomes partial. If we get entered here, we'll take most off there. That becomes stop loss, protected low. Don't want to see that be violated. Really relying on this original sell side pull, right? That is this low. So the previous low of day, London low, gonna be key. I like that. We're still getting stuck here. So yeah, we're gonna rely on that. Let's try that one more time. What is that? So at this point, we'll put it right at the low, as we said, stop below that. And yeah, we just want to see a run higher. This might be that protected low now though. Intermediate swing point, right? Swing low to the left, swing low to the right, intermediate swing point. This, however, is more of my intermediate swing point. But yeah, now that we've put in new swing lows to the left and right of this swing, this might be the actual low that gets held here. May not want to actually target it, and we could just run. Want to get stuck there. Want to keep rejecting. Reject, run low. And get us where we gotta go. Nice, held it, held it. Oh, not at all. Not at all. Which is why I gotta use the extreme to the range here. Why has it been so bad? I mean, I would say a few things, right? Just uncertainty as far as world affairs go. Right, regardless of what your thoughts are on Trump, it's hard to disagree that he's very volatile, divisive. Right, so things like that are just going to cause the market to be very uncertain, right? Nothing's guaranteed. He can tweet something today or tomorrow that dumps it or shoots it up 100 points. Or so when that's the case, it's just going to be a lot more fickle. I would say add on to that the fact that we have just been moving so aggressively the past really week or two. Right? I mean, the huge moves like this, it's hard to sustain those. Right? So after moving so much, price is just going to naturally return into a consolidation state. Right? Especially no pullbacks. I mean, like, look at this run high to low. We had a lot deeper pullbacks and price still consolidated quite a bit. Whereas here, not really any pullbacks. We had two down close candles, 3. But besides that, all upwards. So it makes sense to expect a few days, right, where we're just ranging back and forth. That's why it's always important to have higher time frame understanding. So, I mean, in reality, even like a 4-hour, right, still clean setups. So we're just at an area of consolidation at the moment. As we said, that low more than likely would be our protected low. We miss it. So we'll see if we run in that partial. Displacement, true displacement above, right? Notice that none of these candles, anytime we've closed above, there's been no discount that gets left behind. So let's see what happens here. Right, because this candle closes above, next candle negates that. That one candle's chance. This candle closes above, next candle negates it. This candle closes above, next candle negates it. Oh, well, there we go. All right. So for us, we're probably out there. So we missed that. That's all right. But as we said, this becomes our swing low. That's actually crazy. To the tick, we missed it by quite literally not even 1 tick. That's funny. That's all right. That idea pans out, right? Why would we expect that though? After showing an unwillingness to actually respect the first presented fair value gap, we understand we're going to be in a consolidation, right? So we have to rely on higher time frame points. As we said, when we zoom out, however, hide everything. After this run lower, what's the most obvious target? Highs, right? We did all the work lower that we needed to do. So we take that original sell side, and that is what we were trying to enter on. So after price hit it once and respected it, moved away, we were trying to basically capture a second retracement into it. We fell just short of it, unfortunately. And now there's that expansion. So yeah, we should run, as we said, I liked this. I think these highs were too clean up here. Let's see if we want to get those highs. Now I'd be a little more willing to want to try to use that if price retraced back into this. But in reality, I would probably go like these highs to this low should be balanced. So like if we're going to maintain bullishness for the time being, I'd almost say we shouldn't return below this high right here. So my attention would go towards this fair value gap. This would be the fair value gap that should hold us bullish. This is kind of how you can go about picking breakaway gaps, right? So for me, to be honest, I wouldn't want to see this be traded into if we're going to attack the buy side. We should hold from here, which is the high right here. And then I would expect to see price just continue to push. Let's see what we get. As we said, true bullishness, this should be a breakaway. We shouldn't want to retest this until buy side. So after running buy side, we could get lower, but or did we hit that 830? I missed that. We did hit 830. So 830 itself is pretty key level. That might want to give us some drawback, but I still like that idea. I would expect this fair value gap to hold us if buy side is the immediate target. So right, hold from this little area. And as we said, if we're really on sides, this high shouldn't even be breached. So we see price trade into it perfectly. Wicks can go lower, but bodies should remain above that level. That's kind of what I'm watching for the time being. Just seeing if bodies can continue to respect this until the buy side gets traded into. Cool. So we trade into it. We first closure back above. We never got into its consequent encroachment, so we may get a wick into that. But as I look at this, if we're going to be extremely precise, as we said, this is really all price had to reprice into. It was a wick, so that's good. But if price has no intentions of even trying to get into it, this might be the swing low here. This will hold its high, and then it'll accelerate through the 830 opening, because we have not closed above that yet. So we'd watch to see, right? Is this basically as far down as price can go? If we accelerate close above 830, we should be able to run into buy side pretty easily. That's what we'll wait and see. But yeah, I'll be right back again, fellas. We tried, can't do it. Alright, we're back. We're safe. Where we at? Oh, okay. So far, getting exactly what we kind of expected to see. As we said, now that we've left this range, this high really has no need to be traded below. Perfect delivery into it. Fair value gap high holds us. New 1 minute fair value gap holds. So yeah, we should get buy side, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see, Max, what you gotta say? Took the same 2 trades as me, blew 2 evals. How do you recover mentally? Been trading about a year and only had 2 payouts. First of all, I'll say the fact that you've been only trading a year and got 2 payouts is already above a lot of people, right? So give yourself some grace is what I would say, just to start out. Aside from that, I mean, right, understand, okay, you've done it before, so you can do it again, right? You're gonna feel like shit now, there's no doubt about it, right? Anytime you blow any type of account, the immediate reaction of course is going to be negative. I would just try to tell yourself, right, remind yourself that you've been practicing, you've been improving. That shows the fact that you've been able to pull out money already, right? Means that you know what you're doing in some sense. It's just a matter of more time, more experience. I guess my question would be, right, 2 trades, were you already almost, I guess, like blowing that account? Or did you kind of over leverage? Because right, if 2 trades caused you to blow the account, it seems like you may have been over leveraging. I'm not too sure. But not 2 payouts in a year. I mean, I would say that in itself, you should be proud of that, man. Right, I didn't get my first payout till probably closer to 4 years, I guess I'd say, really. 2 years before I was even break even, so you're already ahead of me, right? I just had more time. Trust the process for sure. Okay, I see. Yeah, man, I mean, in general though, right, markets themselves right now just aren't moving the best either. Right, so give yourself kind of a more pass on that as well, that it's just a tough market environment. Things aren't paced, right, clear cut, paced and dry. So you have to really work hard, as you've seen already. So with the underlying basis that, yeah, the market is in a tough condition, it's already going to make it harder. And like you just said though, right, trying to force for things in that type of condition just cause more harm than good. So it sounds like, I mean, you said it yourself, right? You were trying to pass the evals quickly, over leveraging, right? You add on top of that tough market conditions, which can lead to a lot of losses. In times like this, I think you need to take it slower. Base hits, right? Slowly build that account up. Easier said than done, because I mean, I know for me, right, when I was first trying to get funded and just trying to make money doing this, I had that same problem of just trying to rush everything. I wanted it to happen faster. I wanted it to happen now, which just made it harder, because then that's an unnecessary pressure of trying to perform. Yeah, I would take a step back, take a deep breath. Hopefully you journal. That's something that's always going to be beneficial in times like this, right? When you're kind of doubting yourself or feeling in a rut. Being able to look back, see how you have improved is massive. Like, understand you still are improving. You're a better trader than you were a year ago. No question about that. Just need more time. I always say, right, if you went to college, or imagine like this trading was like trying to get a college degree. Right, someone told you in high school, if you spend right 4-6 years doing this, you can make unlimited money. If that's how it was framed, I don't think people would ever question or try to rush their success if they knew it was coming. That's what I always tell people. Treat it as a college degree. Allow yourself at least 4 years to fully understand before you do anything, before you expect any return, especially because trading is not a linear progression at all. Right? Where a lot of jobs are linear in your improvement, but the longer you're there, the more you get paid. Whereas with trading, you can make nothing for 4, 5, 6 years, and then right your 7th, 8th year after everything clicks, boom, you're making 6 figures just like that. Still watching the same level right here. Right, you'll notice we close on it. I'm saying we could wick lower. Body opens, but never closes. So it's slightly deceiving, right? Still no closure below that level right here. In fact, if anything, this is more bullish to me because we try to open below it and immediately negate that and close back above. So after I see something like that, right, that would lead me to believe, yeah, we should run buy side. I cannot believe we missed that by 1 tick though. That's so crazy. What annoys you is you see the setup, you hesitate, it goes, oh, it moves away. Okay, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, right? The hesitation to enter, you see price move, and then you're almost trying to enter as it moves because you missed the first entry, which causes, right, a bad trade setup, bad trade entry. If that's what you're running into, man, I would just say either size lower. Like if you're trading an account and you're nervous, because I'm guessing you're nervous to lose, even if that's not what you would say, that's almost always what it comes down to, right? Is the fear of losing, which causes the hesitation to enter. So if that's something you are struggling with, I would say either go back to, right, just trading a sim account, a fake paper account, until you're no longer scared of executing, or just size down. And if you're already trading like a funded account or your personal money, I would say sizing down would be better than trading a practice account. Because at some point, right, you do need the reps of real risk. So like what I did, right, once again, just kind of tying it back to me, is that what Perfect just said right there. Right, when I first got my funded accounts, I cut my risk down tremendously to where I was almost risking nothing, but it was allowing me to be in the market and grow the experience of taking, right, trades that can have actual consequences. I wouldn't say consequences, but could have actual results. That's a better way to put it. Because like even when you're taking an eval, I think it's slightly different because you know that like the profits you make are only to pass the evaluation. You won't actually be able to take those out. Whereas like when you're actually funded, it's a whole different game because you're realizing, oh, if I do good, this is real money that I could have. Right, so it almost messes with your psyche again. Yeah, just keep going, brother. Right, I would suggest size down a little bit. Get familiar, get comfortable with just executing on your ideas and not worrying about the monetary loss or gain. That's the best way to do it. Fall short, interesting. So we don't take the high or the low of that morning range. Wow. Right back into equilibrium. So yeah, we're just choppy here. We'll see first test into this. We did displace from here. So this may be an area that can hold. We'll have to see really what price wants to do within that area. Could easily fall through and just boop, slide. 10 o'clock. Yeah, we'll hang out till 11. Jeez. Yeah, that's ugly. Holy cow. Maybe back here, original sell side. Back under. Any days of the month I completely avoid. Yeah, NFP, I guess. Any days that Powell's speaking. What else? I guess that's really the two main ones. CPI. I wouldn't say I avoid it. I avoid the morning session of it. Just trying to think what else. That's really it. Just the giant news events, right? CPI, NFP, FOMC, of course. I forgot about that one. Oh, so straight back into this here. We fell short of the buy side. Should we buy that? I'm not convinced. A quick bounce into the range. I'm not convinced we actually want to take out that low, if I'm being honest. Right, this in here to me seems all fabricated. You get people trying to go long. You fall short of the buy side, which then gets retail people to go short. You have a huge down move, getting people to chase the shorts into the predetermined liquidity, and then you rip back again. Oh, we should have took that. Look at that. Now we're content. After 11, that's after my trading window. We'll watch this though. This would be a quick scalp back up into it. And what's the understanding? The understanding is that, well, once again, high, low, current dealing range. We can't break the high. I don't think we actually want to break the low. I think we actually just want to consolidate within that equilibrium. So if I take the equilibrium, right, it's right once, like we said, midpoint of the first percentage fair value gap. So to me, price is going to constantly want to revert into that area as it reaches the extremes of the range. Right, the lower quarter and the upper quarter. Notice that anytime we get into that, price reverts. Upper quarter reverts. Lower quarter, I would expect it to revert again. Just back up into, once again, equilibrium up here. Stop loss goes below, as we said, protected swing low. Maybe even into midnight. That's twice. It was at 11. Should have kept it in there. That's all right. Once again, though, right? This is why I think it's key to be able to understand when you're just in consolidating markets, because it will allow you to have more precise entries. Obviously, we didn't take that entry, right? We had the framework for it. But just the understanding of why this area would hold us, rather than trying to use like this area. So I'm sure a lot of people, right, were trying to use the first presented fair value gap, thinking we finally escaped it, and that should hold us. But we understand that we're in this consolidation, so the minute that we return back into the range here, like we said, if we were going to clear this buy side, we should not have traded back below this high. So closing back below that high indicates to me that we don't want to hold here, because we wouldn't have retraced that deep. Instead, we're going to try to come back into the extremes of the range that have already held us before. Here. That's what we get. Nope, not long anymore. As I said, right, took the limit away, we missed it. I had it set here, we tap it, we didn't get it, we move away into my objective. So I get rid of it. We retrace back down. We still expect this area to hold, but now it's getting a little bit later into the day than just I like personally. It's still valid, but for me, I just have kind of my own set of rules. So we don't take that. But as I always say, it's just nice to understand why. Be on sides with the market. I still think we would clear this high before we dump personally. Like, let's go. Let's just, right, once again, zoom out. Let's go to like a 4-hour real quick. Holy. Yeah, because really just in the 4-hour fair value gap right here. Do I still have that up? I do. Okay. Hi. Yeah, that's just too clean in my opinion, man. I don't know. I'd still want to run higher, even if we're going to go lower. Like my best case scenario, right? Come back down into this, but clear out these highs first and hit this fair value gap that's right here. Go up to clear all the buy side, then roll over. The full tilt, how do you deal with that phenomenon? Oh, that's a great question. How do you deal with the full tilt? I would say you have to experience it first, unfortunately. You have to go full tilt. It's one of those things that, right, you can say, don't do this, follow my lead, but until it happens, you don't understand the feeling. So for one, you have to go full tilt once to understand how it feels like. Then I think it comes down to journaling and having the discipline to follow your setups. I would say that discipline is going to be the number one factor in that. And this is kind of like a talk that we had yesterday, right? Where being able to have discipline outside of the charts is a must before you can actually find success in the charts. Because until you have full discipline over your emotions, right, and what you do, going full tilt is always going to be a possibility. And I mean, I can speak from my own experience, right? I thought I was past that stage. I'd been trading for years already. I'd had success as a trader, right? I considered myself profitable, which I still do. But I never considered myself to be someone that, right, would go full tilt, and it happened, right, less than a year ago, and it caused me to lose all my accounts. And that's because I slipped back into, right, having undisciplined habits outside of trading. So to me, the moment that you become undisciplined is the moment that, right, that phenomenon of going full tilt is going to be more present in your trading. I think you have to remind yourself, or at least now, like looking back at it, right? What do I remind myself? I remind myself now that I know what I'm doing. So for one, I understand what I'm doing, and I know there's always going to be a trade. So why would I, right, go full tilt and try to make everything back in one day? That's kind of where it starts. Having confidence in your ability to execute, having confidence in your ability to know that there's always going to be trades. Right? Once I have that, then I allow myself to look back and say, okay, what caused me to go full tilt last time? So relying on that emotions, right? What was it that caused me to act this way? How can I prevent it in the future? And to you, overconfidence, right? I would say it's almost not. And what I think you mean by that is that you maybe lose some trades. You see a trade panning out and you think, oh, this is the one that's going to work, and you enter. Right. And I almost don't want to say that's overconfidence. I say that's more lack of discipline. At least for me, it was, anyways. Masked as overconfidence. Okay, yeah. So I would almost say that's more of just a lack of discipline rather than overconfidence. But it comes off as overconfidence because you think that that trade should pan out. When in reality, I think you're just looking at the market through, right, a more pressure perspective, trying to force the setups themselves. And for me now, right, I have that hard rule, kind of as I mentioned, to where to even present myself from doing that. But I guess that ties back to the discipline part. Like I was gonna say, I will never lose more than 1% in a day. I just won't do it, right? And so that almost is like a hard stop that prevents you. Because even if you see, or if I see a trade setup that is A++, but I've already met that drawdown limit, I can't take it. But like I said, I guess that's more discipline, because nothing in reality is stopping me from taking it. Like you could say, oh, okay, I'm at my max drawdown. I'm not going to take any more trades. But then you see something that you think is going to work out, so then you take the trade anyways. So yeah, discipline. All comes back to discipline. And that's what makes trading so hard, is that it really is more personal than anything. Like trading has taught myself more about myself, right, than any other thing I've done. It exposes all the character flaws that you have. It's going to exacerbate them. So yeah, look, that would have worked out. It's a quick little bounce back into equilibrium, right? And those are trades that you can take. And you don't even need to target anything else. No buy side or inefficiency. Just understanding these higher time frame key points. Easy setups like that. But yeah, Mike, just keep on going, brother. Trust the process. Right? Remind yourself that you've had success. Remind yourself that you know what you're looking for. Do we actually get the high now? Right, this would be, we could run highs now that we've hit this low again. Watch that fair value gap. Once again, I wouldn't trust that. It could work. I would not enter on that, personally. Doesn't mean that, right? I'm right. If it holds and runs, someone else could have taken it and they're wrong, or they're correct. I just don't like the probabilities of that holding there. Are already showed way too many times that we're just going up and down right through it. So yeah, could this be the one time it holds us perfectly? Sure, but that's fine. As I said, for me, entering this would have been the entry. Recall that London wick we talked about when Trump spoke. Yes, I do. What about it? But that was Friday, wasn't it? Wow, interesting. Okay. Let's look back. What was that? That was last Friday. Right there, boom. Just jumps out the chart. That's funny. You can tell. That's valid. Right? That would get you pissed. Especially if you were long, and right? And all the profits you worked for, boom. Just out like that. So then I'm guessing you're pissed because you got stopped. Now you're trying to make back the profits that you lost, which then causes you to force. Ooh, I could just, yep, I could feel the tilt. I feel it. That's funny. Here's the thing, right? It's gone. You can't do much about it. What I would do is you just remember that day. Right? That's really all you can do, man. Is that you remember it. You remember what it felt like. More importantly, you remember what you felt like after you went full tilt. And to me, I always like to remember the feeling of, right, what pain was worse? The pain of being like, stop it out like that, or the pain of something going against you, right? Or the pain of actually going full tilt and then causing more harm to yourself than you should have. So to me, that pain, right, that resentment, that regret will always outweigh the pain of missing a setup or getting stopped out on a setup that I trusted, because I'm causing unforced harm to myself, right, once you start going tilt. The last one, yeah. Damn, brother. Hey, I feel you. I empathize with that feeling. I've been there before. I'm sure anyone that was successful has been there before as well. But yeah, you just got to move on, right? Use that in your trading for sure. Like we say, remember what it felt like. Remember the feeling of harming yourself, of doing something. And what's crazy is, like, at the time, I'm sure you probably even knew you shouldn't be doing it. And that's why it's also so hard. It's like in your mind, right? You're probably saying, all right, I should not do this. Like, I'm tilting, and you still do it, which then makes it worse when it doesn't go your way because you knew you probably shouldn't have done it, which is then leads to more tilt. It's a very dangerous game, man. Slippery slope. The mind is your own worst enemy in trading. No doubt about it. All right, so now, look, as we said, we do end up using this so far. That's fine, I'm not worried. We could use it. See if we get into buy side finally. Get the run higher. Right, as we said, this would be this actual entry. Boop, into the highs. Watch midnight. Closure above midnight. We should be able to keep going. Reject from midnight. So see if we want to revisit first presented here. What time is it? 11:17. We'll hang out till like 11:30. It's a constant cattle against yourself. I know you meant battle, but that's just funny. It's all about them cows, boy. But yes, 100%. 90% mental, 10% what's in the chart. Which is why, really, like as we always say, at the end of the day, it's more of a mental battle. Yikes. Look at that price action today. That is rough. Exactly, right? Being able to understand we're in consolidation, as we said, that would have been perfect entry. Can't ruin it. Missed it there. Like, that would be the stuff that would piss me off, right? Back in the day. Like, missing that entry. So now probably, actually, I know I would have. Like, looking back on it now, missing this entry would have pissed me off. So as price created this fair value gap here, I would have entered that 100% a year ago, 2 years ago. Trying to capture the actual run into buy side. Then that would have stopped me out. I already know what I would have done. This is so hilarious. That would have stopped me out. I would have been pissed. I was like, damn, all right, we're going bearish. So I would have tried to short that into the lows. I would have then got stopped out again. And then I would have tried to take this long. Which right, that long might have worked out. But it didn't matter because I've already lost so much. So then it's like the winners don't even feel satisfying because you're only making back what you lost by not following the directions. You're long here. Yeah, that's valid. Like I said, that's perfectly valid to do. Just for me, I'm fine. SMT at the low as well, yeah. NQ is able to clear this low here. I used to have an indicator. I might bring that indicator back because I always have multiple charts up. So I could always see, like, I'm always looking at NQ, but it's nice to reference those areas for you guys. So I don't have to switch back and forth constantly. 52 people, wow. We're slowly getting there, fellas. That's the most. Let's see if we can build back up to what we used to have. He said it doesn't mean, as soon as he taught it, it doesn't matter. That's funny. No, you just have, you have to be able to use them at the right time. That's honestly the thing with ICT, and that's why I think so many people call them a fraud or just things like that, is that the concepts themselves, right, aren't going to work magically. He's more so teaching you a language and then revealing when those concepts should work. Like learning what fair value gaps are, learning what volume imbalances are. On the surface, that's really not going to help you at all. Because they're just patterns, right? In a retail sense, they're just things that pop up in the chart. So if you're simply trading them because they pop up, you're not any better than actual, like, right, retail traders that are just trading patterns. ICT is so hard because it requires a deeper understanding of the actual narrative and why that certain fair value gap should hold. And that's really why I think he's so precise. Like if you look at his trades, he's never really using like just a basic fair value gap. His entries are never like on, right, a high or low. It's always like a close proximity entry. Is price respects an area that he's already looking for price to trade into. So I don't want to say he's kind of deceiving in a way to some people, but like to the uninitiated, I get why, right? They would say the concepts are just fluff or all talk because there is so many of them. And he does make it seem like, right, he's picking and choosing which one works for the certain time. But hey, that's fine with us. Right? The less people that trust him or the more people that call it a fraud, just the less people that understand. He took some pre-market trades. Not a bad idea. Right, and that would be a good idea to do today. Large range from yesterday. No news today. You can expect the morning following a large range to be absolute disgusting. So yeah, work in the pre-market. You had that same speech before. What speech? You really want me to do it? Oh, you want that NQ. Fine. How about this? Tomorrow, NQ. I'll just full commit so I can't take it back. We'll go all NQ tomorrow. Alright, say less, say less. Hey, I'm gonna get you on ES though one day. I'm gonna get y'all. Get you to the dark side, not to the clean side. But yeah, we'll do some NQ. Let's finish with NQ today, huh? What did it do? What? Look at that. So ugly. But I am curious. Let's see, like, did it have the same... So like the setup seed? No, that's why it's tough for me. Like, what were we holding here? The fair value gap itself? Most prominent. That is true. That's why you switch it up, though, you see? If everyone's doing NQ... Who's doing ES, my man? ES getting neglected. I think everyone does NQ because then you could say if you catch a trade that you caught more points, if I'm being completely honest. Like, right, like you could say, it's just kind of like we said yesterday. The risk and the profit could be the same. Right, like let's say that we did a simple 1 to 2 trade just like this, right? Risk and profit's the same, but in here you're only getting 8 handles, whereas like let's say that you did a 1 to 2 in ES, regardless, right? 1 to 2, same idea. Oh, you're catching what? Damn near 20 handles, which is like 100 points. So then I could go on Twitter and say, I just got a 100-point move. When in reality, the actual percent of profit is the same. But you're smart. Maybe we should do that. Maybe I was never good at marketing, to be honest. That's kind of why I wouldn't say I struggled, but that's why I wasn't as large as we could have been. I just don't like marketing myself too much, which is stupid because I understand if I'm trying to grow this as like a platform, you have to market yourself. So we'll start doing that better. ES is for the gentleman. He said ES neglects you. Never that. ES is the dog. But yeah, NQ definitely moves quicker. That's for sure. I would agree with that. And I traded NQ early on a lot more. Just for that reason, right? It moves a lot more larger ranges. So I felt like if you catch larger moves, you'll make more. The better I got, though, I understood it's really risk to reward. So the more precise you could be, the better. But yeah, let's try out some NQ. We'll try that tomorrow. Some idea here though, like that. Yeah, yikes. Hey, thanks, Max. I appreciate the hype, my man. Yeah, maybe we'll go for it. Right, in the same aspect, I don't ever like saying I'm better than anybody because it's all subjective. And right, and to be honest, people that have no idea what ICT concepts are, I'm sure they make more than I do. But I do think that as far as just the understanding of why price moves, I'm up there. Pretty elite. Right, the ability to follow price, forecast moves, why they happen, when they should happen, where they should happen. And to me, I feel like that's more important. And it's not for everybody. So it's also kind of a niche, right? Some people could care less why price is moving as long as they are on sides. That's all that matters, right? And that's why retail people do find success. But I think I'm more for the people that kind of like I do, right? Want a deeper understanding of why this is happening. And that's also what ICT explains, right? His concepts are for people that really want a deeper understanding of why this should happen and when this should happen. And that's me. He says you're better for sure. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate you. I'm glad you feel that way. I'd agree with that. I mean, I can't lie. Right? I've hopped into some streams that have like market themselves as ICT concepts and stuff, and I'm just like, what are we talking about here? The calmness. I also feel like that was another reason why, though, I'm not like marketable. People like to see animation, you know, drive sales and stuff, but I'd rather build it just legitimate and kind of true to who I am. Look at that. See, because even something like this, right, simple. Like I'd be looking at this fair value gap. This is what I would expect to hold, and it does. was like an NQ, let's say we're doing the same, I would expect this one to hold. No, actually I wouldn't expect that to hold. I lied. Like let's say we're entering here. If I was going to force an enter and NQ, I would enter like this. Once again, negating kind of all the actual candlestick price action and relying on higher time frame areas that price is shown a willingness to want to hold. Right, so we trade below it and then we invert it immediately. Same thing, we try to get below it, we then get above it again, and then you'll notice, right, each time we're getting lower and lower, the bodies keep hovering higher. So we wick, we move higher, we wick lower, can't get into it. Next candle, once again, wicks. So I'll try to force something like that, but go 15. I don't have the 15 actually. Maybe I should upgrade. I used to use that, but I don't use them as much anymore, so I canceled the premium. But maybe I get back into it. I found that with my personality, if I'm looking at the 15, I kind of get a little bit too sucked in. All right, well, it's 11:30. Well, it looks like we're going to end the day kind of like we've been saying, right at that equilibrium. Equilibrium of our current dealing range, high to low, is perfectly, I mean, let's look again. I'm pretty sure it's exactly consequent encroachment of that first presented fair value gap. I just kind of want to confirm that, right? So then we take this and let's line up the midpoints. Bang, bang. Oh my, yeah. So yeah, when you see things like that, like, right, that's not random. That's why we were already here, what, an hour ago, 2 hours ago, we're able to say that more than likely we're just going to remain within this range. Add to the fact that we're just going up and down through the same first presented fair value gap. We're already sitting inside of, right, the 4 hour. Yeah. Same here, just quant tower. Oh, I don't have, I know there's like indicators that allow you to look at like tick charts, but we chilling. Maybe we'll get back into it. Let's see, actually. I used to have them. Oh my, look at all these favorites. Y'all want to see what I used to do, actually? Since we're just bullshitting here now. I used to make these indicators, or these algos, right? For a daily chart. How do I pull it back up? Let's see. Oh, I got rid of them. Never mind. I got rid of them. Sad. Why would I do that? Oh, there it is. That's crazy. Look at this. What was I doing, fellas? Look, hide all the drawings. Oh my. Like, what are we doing here? Buy. Wait. I'm actually great? Okay, if I would have done this, then buy. Sell. Buy. Pause. Take it back. I need to start doing it again. Oh my. Homemade algo is better. That's funny. You never know, ICT. Hey, that'd be lit. To be honest, I think if that happened, I would blow up. I'm not even trying to toot my own horn, but like, that's really all. First of all, people love him. So anyone that he's going to call out, you're automatically going to get a boost in your engagement. But then if people can actually see, right, like what we're talking about, I think they would kind of agree with you all that the understanding is a little deeper than most, a little different. What is this? Oh, wait. I'm tripping. We have Enigma at home. That's funny. You're stupid. You got the great value ICT. Damn, did she? Who do I know? Let's see. If I'm gonna ICT traders, I know Tanja. Shoot. No, I just said her name wrong. I'm so sorry. I think it's Tanja with a J. You could correct me if I'm wrong. Who else? Jade. These are all people that I kind of interacted with because we all really started at the same time. But then I fell off social media for about a year or so. Who else do I know? Jay, Tanja. Damn, that's really all. Like you said, Dat or Lumi trades. I have seen her. Zeusy. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He doesn't stream or anything, but he was one of the OG homies. Tanja's nice. Yeah. From what I've seen, she seems chill. Same with the Lumi either. I don't really know too much about them personally, but I don't think that Lumi's an actual... Well, I mean, she is a trader, but I don't know if she trades like props or not. I know Tanja does, for real. I also feel like I'm just saying her name wrong completely. I'm gonna have to look that up. Were you in ICT's mentorship? I was barely. I was in 2019 for a few months. Right, as I've told the story before, I was in college at the time, so I couldn't pay for the monthly membership each month. So I was in there for about 4 or 5 months, then I got booted. But unfortunately, I guess, well, fortunately for me, unfortunate for Michael, his stuff was getting leaked at the time, right? So I still had access to pretty much everything that was in there. I'm just not a charter member, right? So I don't claim to have that charter member tag at all. At this point, he's released all the info though. So like anything that was in that charter membership or his private membership is now free. She doesn't know how to trade. You're savage. That's... Hey, if you say it, not me. She's gotten some payouts, that's all I know. Waiting. Yeah, that's fair. I think she's someone that might rely a little bit more on like affiliates and just YouTube revenue, which is fine, right? I'm trying to build the same thing. It's smart to have other sources of income. Yeah, the trading itself might not be. I would say the best trade, if we're going pure trading profit and ability, the best one I've seen as far as ICT students would probably be Jade, right? Jade Cap. And the funny thing is, he's probably one of the simpler traders, right? Higher time frames, large positions. In most of okay. Yeah, I do think I have, like, I've seen some of hers. I think I just have a little bit higher understanding as far as like lower time frames, which helps me be able to navigate and take trades that she might not see, but right, to each their own. I know she hasn't really been around ICT concepts for that long, so she still has time to grow for sure. Right, or adapt her trading styles. She'll be alright. There's a lot of people you never, exactly. You know, that's another thing too, like, I could be seen as a hypocrite for sure, because I'm talking on it. But I think you guys obviously see I know what I'm talking about. But the best of the best, right? People that are making crazy amounts, I doubt they're out there. They're probably staying hidden, or they're working for legitimate, right, hedge funds, and they're trading crazy amounts of capital. They're not really in the prop firm space. Yeah, Jade. As I said, Jade's the best that I've seen as far as in the public eye, profit-wise. I'm sure there's plenty others who've dwarfed him easily. Because, I mean, ICT's been teaching for how long? since the 2000s. Yeah, he just came out publicly a few years ago, but I'm sure there are people that found him early on that have been with him forever that are freaks of nature. I mean, the girl right now that's in first place is an ICT student, I'm pretty sure. Like for the Futures Cup, the Robbins Futures. Hey, that's kind of the way to go. Which is unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate that you can make more money by almost leading your fans on, but at the end of the day, I can't talk too much crap on it. All right. Hard life out here, man. The world's tough. You got to do what you got to do to make your bread. It'd be different if I thought they were actively lying, but I think the people that watch them know, right? They may not be the best. They're kind of just watching them because they enjoy watching them, and that's on them. So, like, I'll be straight up, right? If I could have their YouTube revenue and income, I would do it in a heartbeat. I think anyone would. And I'll be honest, that's part of the reason I almost came back. Right? I would see these people pop up on my YouTube, and I'd be like, damn, I think I could do that. While also providing value. At this point, we're not even talking about price anymore. We're just yapping, but hey, that's fine with me. We're just chilling. Jay does not. And that's the thing, I don't think he wants to. Like for me, right, I like streaming because growing up, I always wanted to be a streamer anyways, just for video games. Like I'm a huge gaming nerd. Right, so growing up, I tried to post YouTube videos and stream me playing games. So I just like the aspect of doing this. I just found a different medium to do it, right? Trading instead of gaming. Was like someone like Jade, I doubt he even wants to be a streamer at all. He'll just make his money. He makes content, right? Which is plenty enough. What kind of games? Call of Duty, right? That's what I was trying to get big on. So like I went to a lot of LAN events. I went to COD XP in California in 2016. So I was trying to take it serious, right? I've won a good amount. Fortnite. In college, I made probably $8 grand off Fortnite. That shit was hype, actually. So I've always been a gamer at heart. Do you think you could trade a very big account? You think you're conditioned for that? You know, to be honest, probably. I think I'd be able to, but I would have to adjust how I trade. Which honestly, I'm kind of going through that process right now. And I think it's the market's forcing me, right? Relying on higher time frame PD arrays and then trying to go from higher time frame to higher time frame PD arrays rather than the lower time frame PD arrays that are getting formed. So I think with larger size, you almost are required to have larger stops. Like I want more room for the trades to breathe, which is kind of allowing for larger stop losses, which ties into using higher time frame key areas. So I think I could, right? My goal honestly is to really, like I would say Jade is pretty inspiring to most people. To where like capital over large trades is huge. And he definitely has shifted my mind spec on that. Well, like a few years ago, as I've said, I tried to capture more, we'll say larger moves to make more money. Whereas now I'm more so focused on trying to get more capital and then actually risking less percentage wise. Because that's how you stay around longer. Right? And if I plan to do this forever, if anyone plans to do this, right, as kind of their life source, their life income, being able to maintain accounts and not blow them is going to be what's really important. So yeah, that's currently what I'm in the process of, right? Just getting more capital so then you don't have to risk as much, which then allows you to have just wider stops. But I don't know. For me to ever trade moons, like I've thought about going down the route of like trading other people's monies. But who knows? I think that would be extra risk that I would not ever want to take on. So that's why I don't know if I would ever go the route of like trading like, you know, hedge funds and things. I know Jade's talked about that. That's almost his goal, is to be like a legitimate, right, manager that has a lot of money under his tutelage, his capital. Whereas for me, I'm fine not necessarily doing that, just trading my own personal stuff, make it enough to just enjoy my life. Why are these guys talking comments? Right, what the heck, Click? Nah, it's because price is pretty ass now, so we're getting a little off topic. As I say, I always try to maintain, I respect everybody. I ain't got no ill will on anybody. Trading is hard, man. So anyone that can step in front of other people and try to do it, I'll have respect for them regardless of, right, how good they are. It's not easy. Oh, now y'all are beefing in the chat. Easy, 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 easy. We're on the same team. We're the same team. We're just yapping, you know. No ill will towards anybody. As we said, trading is hard enough as it is, right? There's no need to make enemies with people that are trying to do what you do. Plenty of room to go around. Da, 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 da. Holy cow. How ugly is this stuff for real? Just got on. No, we were just talking about people. Right, really started with me saying I kind of want to build my audience more. Of course, the homies are saying I would be good, right? Because I got good understanding, so they hype me up. That's all it is. Just support. Let's not support this price action. No, how about that? All right, I guess we'll stay until 12. We said 11:30. It's already past that. We'll see what 11:50 does. Let's see. When you think price action is going to get good again, I mean, I think the markets are already styled to Trump. As I said earlier, this is just kind of how Trump is. I mean, it's not really a surprise. Like those that were around, like I said, it's true. Like a lot of ICT guys maybe weren't around his first term. But this is really how it was, right? Like it was even more volatile, to be honest. Like he would drop tweets midday and price would just skyrocket 50 handles, or it would dump 50 handles, or it would just gap. It was very volatile. So to me, I think it's probably going to just be like this from now on, which is, just, I wouldn't say unfortunate, right? You just have to be a lot more precise. Like in my mind, as long as he's in office, there's always a possibility of a black swan, because he's just someone that's so very out there. Like I said, regardless of what your own opinions on him are, you can think he's the best or the worst. Objectively, he's just very animated, right? I don't think anyone would argue with that. And that causes a lot of uncertainty in the markets. Look at that. What are we doing? All right. Yeah, we good, fellas. Let's do one more follow. Let's see if we want to get into basically, oh, we did already hit that. So yeah, I think we're good there. We'll call that a day. Unless there's any more questions, let's see. Do you think you should backtest first term price action? Maybe actually, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Or what I would do is I would just try to get better at understanding what's going to lead to consolidations and how to trade within consolidations. That is what my advice would be. Because like if you look back, right, price is pretty much just going to be doing what it's doing here, to where it consolidates, we get some good runs. So more so I would try to figure out, right, what are the key indicators that will hint to me that we're going to be consolidating for the day. And then once I understand that, right, how can I be involved in consolidations? And those are both things that you can learn from being around here, or Michael himself has talked about that. He's made specific videos about, right, trading within the range. And in short, like, you're gonna have to just rely on higher time frame areas of interest. And that's kind of what we're doing here. But yeah, I would learn to spot consolidations and then learn what are the best way to go to approach entries in this consolidations. Like, once again, as we said right here, we never want to be trying to take entries in the middle of this range. It's like this long, I'm not trying to take. Inversion shorts, even though they pan out, right, I'm still not trying to take that. I would be looking, like if I had to force an entry, as we said, it would be entering on that original sell side right here. Every time we smash into it, that's an entry opportunity. Right here, here, here. And then when you're trading within the range, you're simply targeting, as we said, equilibrium points. Just areas that would make sense for price to retrace up into. Except I don't know why that just happened. Hold up. Because the first should be there. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay. So as we said, equilibrium of this range is actually the first presented fair value gap. So that just adds to the fact that price is going to want to continue to trade back up into there. So easy trades, once you find the protected low, we understood this is protected. I would just be trying to catch the extremes of that range into equilibrium. Right, so it worked out here. Probably will work out here again. Once we get up into that, we'll go ahead and close it. You know, off topic, one other thing I have thought about doing that would help grow this is I think people like having face cams. Which I was always, I guess I wasn't opposed, but I'm just like, maybe I have to just get a camera. Do you use C side as an entry point after price reacts from it? Sell side, yeah. So like, right, for us, we were trying to enter on this, not on the first run into it. I always wait, unless I'm very confirmed to like expect price to bounce. But like here, right, this was the objective. So when price trades into it the first time, I'm waiting to see what price does at that point. So when we create the bearish fair value gap as we attack the sell side for the first time here, right, I want to see if we use premiums left behind to hold us and continue to accelerate us lower, or if we immediately basically revert back into that range. And that's what we get here. Right, we trade lower, closing below, which usually means we should run lower, especially because we left a fair value gap. Instead, we displace right through that. So as I see that, right, that immediately to me is having me think that this sell side pull is the key area of sell side that we needed to run, and price should not trade lower. So after we try to enter on the fair value gap, right, we get stopped out, we get bottom ticked because our stop was below this candle. So just an unfortunate stop placement. The idea was correct. That right, that sell side pull holds us. So it's only after trading below it, reverting above it, showing displacement, and basically showing that we don't want to trade back below that, then I would look to enter on it. Right here, we tried to enter here, we fell short, and at this point we just took it away. But same idea, right? We continue to reference that area. That would help the president. See, that's why I like the shadow. In the shadow, be in the shadow. We'll debate, we'll see. I'm moving again here shortly, so once I get moved into the new spot and then I update the office again, we'll see what happens. But I can't lie, I do like the idea of just staying in the shadows per se. Following in Michael's footsteps. Just except at the end of the day, right, if people find value in what you're actually explaining and teaching, I think they'll show up either way. I'd watch this here. One thing you can always do, right, is you watch. So after we hit those extreme areas we would expect, you watch the first, basically, PD area that gets formed. That should hold us into equilibrium. All right, so as I watch, as we trade into this area again, what gets left behind? Well, a bearish fair value gap. So as that gets, oh, look, we actually invert that with the volume imbalance. So something like that, right, I would expect to hold us at least into equilibrium. Kind of same idea that we're getting really anywhere, right? Notice that once we trade into this level here, look at the volume imbalance that gets left behind as we trade into it. As we invert that, that becomes our support as price runs back into equilibrium. Same idea here, right? As we hit that area, there was no premium, so we wait to see what PD array gets formed. Well, there's a small bullish fair value gap. Painted outside the line slightly, but that area right still held into equilibrium. So I kind of would just watch to see if that wants to play out again as we tap that area. Last premium inverts with a new discount. Does that hold us into equilibrium? You followed me for 2 years. There you are, ninja in the shadows. That's good. I'm just the voice behind the box. That's all I am. I'm the voice in the screen that says where price should go and why. Yeah, we'll wait till 12 and then we'll call it. Oh, look at that. All right, well, no go. You were Neo in the... Oh, I love the Matrix. I'll take that. That's a game I used to play all the time. I'm a huge fan of the trilogy. I like that, yes. That's almost how I saw it, to be honest. When I was first learning, I was like, yo, I'm learning how to read the Matrix. In one of the vids. See, that's where it gets fun. Like, yeah, once you get a deep understanding of these concepts, you can almost, like you said, forecast where the PD arrays will form before they actually do. That's when it gets real crazy. And those are like the A+ setups. Like if I'm looking for something to form a PD array before it does, and it forms as I would expect, I'm almost always going to take a trade there. Would a valid entry be the PBR after sell side was first taken, looking for first presented fair value gap? Yeah, I would say so, 100%. I found though, like personally, in consolidations, liquidity points are what seem to get referenced most, or unless it's a very higher time frame inefficiency. But like say, like right when we run this liquidity, if we actually want to remain in this range, that area will be referenced quite a bit, and that's something that plays out often. Once again, however, we notice that. We notice once we hit that area, we're going to look to see which PD arrays are formed as we trade into that. As we overtake those and create new PD arrays, so should hold us into equilibrium. Boom. But now once again, right, sure, we're above this, but now that we're within here, I don't necessarily trust that as much. As you said, when we're in ranges like this, I'd like to look for setups to form at the quarter levels of those ranges. All right, so this one was a little bit higher, but same idea because we're trading into that. Coming off of it was here. Just a no-go. Same idea up here, right? Best shorts are going to be at basically extremes of the range, top quarter level. Notice how there's a small fair value gap there. And that's actually what we use perfectly. Look at that. So as we invert that, these candlesticks hit that to the tick, and then they sell off. Yeah, we'll call it there. You entered longs at 1150. Yep, valid as we said. 1150 to 1210 is another setup. So this was a valid setup. I would go stop there. For me, honestly, would just go 1-to-1. Because I don't have the confidence that we're going to come up here. I would get out ends model right now. But you do what you want, right? You're obviously in. You could hold. Buy side would be like here, here, here. And then ultimately, this is external buy side if we want to get all the way back up there. So yeah, fellas, we'll call it there. Yeah, pretty tough AM session, to be honest, right? Let's look at that. I mean, sheesh. For us, 0 for 3. Not worried about it. As we said, all valid entries I would try again. Simply just stuck in a consolidation. Once we were able to understand that, we missed 2 entries here, unfortunately. So wasn't able to actually make that back. But like I said, I'm not trying to force anything. Price is simply moving sideways. There will be plenty more setups for us to participate in. So yeah, for the time being, we'll leave you guys with that. Higher time frame if you guys are going to stick around for the afternoon and things like that. Shit, personally, I would still, let's go like this. I would still just wait and see, right? If we're going to hold this higher time frame, yeah, I'd want to see if this 4-hour candlestick closes back above the actual 4-hour fair value gap here. My attention would go back towards highs. So this swing point, at least the most recent 4-hour swing point like that. So I'd watch that. Right now, especially clear sell side, hit 4-hour consequent encroachment, closure above should indicate bullishness. Yeah, I like that. So that's kind of what my idea would be going forward. For the time being, I'll just sit on my hands though and watch. And yeah, we'll be back tomorrow morning. Take a look at the hour, give you a quick hourly look. Same idea. Right? Hourly fair value gap gets tapped there. So for me, higher time frame wise, I would expect higher prices. But let me make sure. Once again, I'm pretty sure we don't have any news tomorrow. No news till Thursday. So pretty slow week, which is why we're seeing a lot of chop here. Yeah, nothing tomorrow. So we'll be back at the same time, 9:25, just before that opening bell. And we'll see what we get then. Hopefully it's better than this today, because that was hideous. Until then, be safe, everybody. Have yourselves a good afternoon, and we will talk tomorrow morning. See you guys later.